In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a full beginner's guide to Wix email marketing. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to get started and sending some amazing emails. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so first things first, we want to go ahead into our Wix website and we want to go to the dashboard. It should look something like this. And we're going to go up to the search bar here and we're going to type in email. And if you go down a little bit, you should see it says Wix email marketing here, and we're going to click on that. And we're basically going to go ahead and add this app to our store, like this. And now we're going to be able to start with the email marketing with Wix. So here we are inside of the email marketing section, and I'm going to walk through everything you need to know. I'm going to start off first with talking about the campaigns, which are basically one-time sends, things like newsletters, stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to go down and I'm going to click create email. So from here, we can start off with some of their basic templates, or they have these designed ones, or you can also, buy them from different websites, or you can create your own from scratch. But I'm just going to go ahead and use one of these pre-made ones because they generally look quite good. So I'm going to look at this one here and click use template. So from here, you can see it's brought the template into the Wix email bit, and we can go ahead and actually edit this. It's quite simple to edit. So any features that we want to edit, it's just very simple, click and edit. So we can click on this feature here. If I want to change the text, I can do that. I can say, welcome to my store. You can put whatever you want in there. Now, while we're on this block, we can go to the left-hand side and we can change a load of different settings here. So we can change the format. So maybe we want it to be smaller. These are sort of like presets, I guess you could say. And if you want to go into the individual details of it, you can change the font here. So I can change it to, let's just change it to this for now. And we can go ahead over here and we can change the size of it as well, just like that. Now there's also a lot of styling options here. So we've got bold, we can make it bold. That won't work on this font, but we've got italic, underline. Here we've got the text color, so you can change the color of the text, just like this. Highlights, this is basically the color behind the text, like that. And then we've got the alignment, so you can align to the left, the right, the center, or justify. So, oops, I've clicked on the wrong bit. You can just put whatever you want. Center's a pretty good one, left align, those are probably the two I use the most. Next up, we've got a link. So we can actually add a link to this piece of text here. And we can click this to remove a link. Then we have numbering, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you go down a line, it will add numbers. Maybe not good for a title, maybe for a list down here. Bullets, it's the same as numbering basically. Increase indent, so basically what that's going to do is going to make it go further in, or you can decrease it, just like that. Line spacing, so this is good for something like this, but when you want the spacing between each line to be bigger or smaller, you can change it here. So you can make it bigger, or you can make it really small, so it's overlapping. If we do 1, I think that's sort of the default. Next we have the text direction, which I don't know if it works on this one. Doesn't seem to work on that. Letter spacing is the gap between each letter, quite self-explanatory. And then we've got the remove formatting, so it'll make it back to normal. And then lastly we have strike through, just like that. So those are basically the content design or format features. Then if you go to the right hand here, we've got the design features. So when you click on a block like this one here, you can see it highlights it in this blue. We go to design, we're going to be able to use this design features here, so we can change the background color if we want to. We can make it full width. We can add borders. We can add a border color, like that. Padding, so that's going to make padding at the top, bottom, left, right. Now I would tend to just leave these as default for the most part. If you fiddle with it too much, it might not make it look so good. Now if you're not feeling very creative and you just want to use a template or a default theme, you can go to the left hand side and there's a little section here called themes, and you can go ahead and you can pick one of these here. Let's just pick this one, and it's going to change the whole template into this theme, which is good. It gives it some continuity, makes it look more professional in my opinion. Next, we've got the background section here, so we can just change the background. So this is the bit behind the actual newsletter itself. So on mobile, people probably won't be able to see this. On desktop, they will. And it's kind of good to keep this simple. Too much is just going to make it confusing. Now, next up, they have this AI feature here. The AI feature is going to be a bit hit or miss, but basically you can just type in you can put the intent of your email here, and then you can type in what your campaign is going to be about, and it's going to basically generate the email for you like that. Kind of useful if you're wanting inspiration, but you're going to have to tweak it quite a bit. Now, the next thing is the elements. So we've talked about how you can edit the elements. This is what the elements are. You've got text, which is self-explanatory. Image also is. Button. Button is self-explanatory. Just drag it in, and you can pick a URL that it goes to. It can have a document, or it can have a form. And just like normal, we can change the design of it quite easily. I'm just going to cancel that. We have divider, so a little white line. You can change it. They've got quite a lot of different dividers here. HTML. So HTML, pretty useful if you've got some kind of custom code that you need to put in here, something like a countdown timer, I believe you might want to do. And then we've got columns. So columns, this is the layout. This is quite a useful one if you want to have, often you'll have image on the left, text on the right, or vice versa. This is a good way of just breaking up the content so it's not just big blocks of writing. This is quite useful. Next up, we have logo. You can just put a little logo in there. Video, which is self-explanatory. You can upload a video. You can have one from YouTube. Now subscribe. You can have the subscribe button here, but I think that's slightly, they're already in the newsletter, so you don't need that on the newsletter, so to speak. Then you've got link. And then lastly, you've got social, so you can have the follow us pages, all that kind of stuff. So that's the very basics of what all the elements actually do and how you can go ahead and create a basic email. Now, I'm going to talk a bit later on in this video about how to actually design them very professionally looking, but stick around for that. So next up, we're going to press next. And this is where we're going to go ahead and actually add our contacts. So I haven't added any contacts here, any segments or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead first and do that. So what you can do is you can come back to this main page here. And if you go down to the bottom, it says quick links. You can go ahead and you can actually view contacts. And in here, you can go ahead and import contacts. Or if people have signed up, then they will be added here. If you want to, you can manually add them here. So create a new contact. You can put all of their details in here manually. Or you can import it here with a CSV file, which is quite useful, especially if you're transferring from a different email provider. So now something important you need to do is segment your email list. The reason we do this is so that we can send relevant emails to relevant people. A customer who has bought 7 days ago is completely different to a customer who hasn't purchased in 180 days. You'll speak to them completely differently, and that's why we create segments. So up here you can see they've got some predefined segments. You've got new contacts, you've got potential customers, active email subscribers, you've got a birthday one. You've got tons of different ones here that you can actually play with. If you want to create a manual one, you can click create segment here, and you can name it what you want. So we'll say returning customers. You can click add a filter. And there's all these different filters that we can have. So if we scroll down, we can type in number of purchases, and then we can say condition. So we can say is more or equal to 2. And then we can say in the last 6 months. So we could put returning customers 6 months, or we could put 2 orders plus, something like that. And we can go ahead and we can create that segment there, and it segment them. It will segment all our customers, and people that meet the criteria will go into this segment. What we can also do is we can create another one, something like recent purchases. So this is a really powerful segment. So you can say add. We put number of purchases, and we can say is more or equal to 1 in the last 30 days. So they've placed 1 or more orders in 30 days. Create a segment, and that will be recent purchases, and that will be a good segment to send to. Now, when you're sending your emails, you want to send to your most recent customers first, then frequent, and then your highest spenders in that order. That's generally the most reactive audiences. So now coming back into the email campaign that we just made, I'm just going to go in and edit it. I'm going to press next. And in here, our segments should be in here. Mine doesn't have any customers in yet, so it's not showing up. But you can select your segment here, or you can select a label like all, and you can go ahead and send to them. Now we're going to go ahead and press next. And this is where we're going to edit our subject line and stuff like that. So the subject line is the sort of title in bold that they'll see, and then the preview line is the text below it. So if you look on your emails now, you'll see there's like a bold line usually at the top, which is the title, and then you'll see the preview line. So subject line, you want something that's going to grab their attention. So if you're doing a sale, you can put the sale. If you have a new product, you can put some new product. Mystery is always a good element to add, so you can say this best seller is finally back in stock. This is a good one that's worked for me in the past, stuff like this. And then for preview text, you want something that's going to follow up from the subject line, so you could say it sold out in 1 hour last time we restocked. Act fast or something, you know, give them some urgency. Now you can also do dynamic values in here. So a dynamic value is a value that changes for each recipient based upon some data. So we can change their first name, last name, email, or website URL. So first name is a good one to do. So we could do something like, well, we'll put the fallback text in, which is basically if they don't have this dynamic value, you can put like, hey there. So if we can't get their first name, we'll just send that. But if not, it will put their first name. So it'll say this bestseller is finally back in stock, and then their name, just like that. And you can also do this for the preview text. And this is a really useful one for grabbing people's attention, making it feel a bit more personal. So we'll save that, and that's the subject line. And then the sender details here, the sender name is here. So you can put like your brand name, and then the reply to email here. This is your email that you are sending from. You want to put that in there. It's going to tell you the amount of people it's going to send to, and then you can press send test email, put your email in there, and just send it to yourself first to make sure everything's okay. The formatting's fine, make sure the subject line looks okay, all that kind of stuff. Then when you're ready, you can send now, or you can schedule it. It's a good idea to schedule it because you'll be able to test which times work best for your audiences. So give that a go. Now, before we can actually go ahead and send the email, we're going to have to add a sender. So if we go back to the dashboard, we can go down here to add sender, and we can just put our sender name in and our email in, hit save. And what it's going to do is going to go ahead and ask you to confirm your email address. So go to your email address and put the verification code in. Now, once you've gone ahead and done that and confirmed it, you're going to want to authenticate your domain. And you can click on this button here that says authenticate, and essentially this is going to increase your deliverability, stuff like that. So I'd go ahead and press that button and authenticate it. There's a little step-by-step guide here on how you can actually go ahead and do it. This is on the Wix website, but if you need help with this, then let me know down below and I can make a video about it. So done. Now we can go ahead and we can finally send the email that we've just made to that segment. Now, in order for us to grow our email list, we're going to want to have some kind of sign up form. And I'm going to go over here to where it says customers and leads. And I'm going to go to where it says forms and submissions. And this is where we're going to basically create a sign up form, which people can sign up for. So you can have these website forms, and these are basically like the little ones you'll see maybe scattered around the website, maybe in the footer, places like that. And these are published. People can put their emails in there and it will go to your email bit. But what you can do is you can create a standalone form here, and you can create it from scratch, or you can use some of these default things here. I'm just going to use this contact info one, just like that. I'm going to press get started, and you're going to be able to put the form title, description, and then you're going to be able to put your questions in here. So maybe, you know, depending on what your service is or your product is, you might have some specific questions you want to ask. So you can put those in. You can delete them out with a delete button. And if you want to, across here on the contact fields, you can add different elements. So you could add email, phone, address, subscribe button. You can add answers, number, URL, buttons, all this kind of stuff, just to make the form a little bit unique, I guess you could say. Then you can save it like this, and we go over to this cog icon, and there should be some settings here we can look at. So here we can see the submissions. If we click here, it's going to open up a table for the submissions, and then you can choose how your people are notified when the form's submitted. So you go this, or you can do email, or whatever you want to. Now, ideally for a sign up form, you just want it to be simple. Usually you want to incentivize them with some kind of discount, and you can just preview it here once you're ready, and you'll be able to see what the form actually looks like. And if you're looking to drive traffic to that, you can send them straight to this page if you'd like to. Now, next up we have the automated emails, or flows, sometimes they're called. And basically these are automations which will help to, you know, do a lot of different things. So you can have abandoned cart ones here, you can have post-purchase upsells. These are automatic emails that will get sent automatically based upon a trigger from your customer. So if we click go to automations here, we can go ahead and create some from these default templates here. So we've got thank you emails to visitors who submit a form, reminders for overdue. You've got a lot of different ones here that you can make, or you can just go ahead and straight up create it from scratch. You can use these popular ones, as I said. The most common ones you're going to want to start off with is abandoned cart. Let's see if they have one here. They don't. Maybe retain customers. They don't seem to have that, so we'd create that from scratch. The way we can create that from scratch is start from scratch. And first of all, we're going to have the trigger. So the trigger is going to be, there's a few different ways you can do this. I think the best way is to do with segments, maybe. You could possibly do it with site members. But I think do with segments. And you'll have to create a new segment called like abandoned cart, something like that, and set up the trigger for that. What we can do here is we can go ahead and we can set it to contact enter segment. We can put specific, pick the segment. So let's say recent purchases for now, but we could put abandoned cart in there, something like that. So when someone enters this, it's gonna trigger the flow. And then down here, we could add a delay or a condition. So you could put something like they haven't purchased, or they have purchased, or they've purchased multiple times. You might want to send different things for different customers, depending on how many times they've interacted with you. Then we can go down here and we can go to the send email bit, and we can go ahead and create the email here. So we're going to edit it here. And for this, you might want to put like, you forgot your item, don't miss out. And, you know, depending on, you want to put something different than this, but depending on like your brand, you might want to change this. So you might want to put, did you know 87% of people see results in 2 weeks? Something there that makes people want to buy it, you know, that makes them second guess the decision not to buy it and think, okay, this is going to work for me essentially. Go ahead and edit, and you would want to put some kind of button like complete my purchase or something like that, and you want to link them to either the product page, or if you can dynamically add them to the cart or send them to the cart, you can do that. It really depends on your preferences. Just have to split test this and see what works best for you. So we can press save and continue, and you're going to want to change the subject line, everything like I taught you before. And then, make sure that's all good. And then you can set the email type here. And essentially this is going to determine the unsubscribe buttons available on the email. So if it's promotion, you can do that. If it's a transactional business critical, you can do that. It's quite important that you do these correctly, because if not, then you might be breaking rules and laws and stuff like that. So yeah, you can just activate that now. And I think I've missed a step. Oh, I've missed a step. Let's just say any of those, I don't know. And then we can give it a little name. So we'll say abandoned cart flow. Save it. And any second now the automation should be set up. So every time the trigger is met, this is going to happen. Now you can go ahead and add a ton of these. You should add a ton of them. You should split test it. There's probably 10, 15 different flows you should be having on your store at a time. Now we're going to want to go look at our campaign statistics here. And the reason for this is we're going to want to make sure that our open rates, click-through rates, spam rates, all that kind of stuff is good. So we'd go on here and it will tell us all of this information here. And it's important to be hitting good metrics. If we're getting a lot of spam or not many people are opening it, then you've got a lower chance of deliverability. And if you're sending promotions all the time, then the chances are it's going to start ending up in the promotions tab. It's not going to perform as well. So you need to be very careful with all of this stuff. Make sure you're checking your metrics all the time. Make sure you're not sending too much. Make sure you're not sending too little. And you can basically look here and you can see all of that kind of stuff. And lastly, you're going to want to upgrade your plan depending on how many emails you have and how many you need to send. If you're sending more than 200, you're going to have to upgrade it. And the pricing plans are as follows here. So you've got essentials, core and advanced. This is 500 emails. This is 5,000. This is 1 million. So it's a pretty good price actually. I don't know if there's any. Yeah, that's a very good price. I think in Klaviyo that would be thousands. So yeah, that's basically how you upgrade it, and you'll need to do that if you're hitting your cap. But that's basically everything you need to know about how to get started using the Wix email marketing features. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, be sure to like and subscribe, and also comment down below that it helped you out so other people can see this video and also get the same advice. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.